I'm reading Freedom from the Known by Jiddu Krishnamurti. When there is an observer who is the sensor, the experiencer, the thinker, there is no beauty, because beauty is something external, something the observer looks at and judges. But when there is no observer, and this demands a great deal of meditation, of inquiry, then there is beauty without the object. Beauty lies in the total abandonment of the observer and the observed. And there can be self-abandonment only when there is total austerity. Not the austerity of the priest with its harshness, its sanctions, rules, and obedience. Not austerity in clothes, ideas, food, and behavior, but the austerity of being totally simple, which is complete humility. So many beautiful ideas and stimulation for wondering what is peace and how we, as peaceful people, relaxed in total stillness, can appreciate the beauty of creation, beautiful things, plants and animals, insects, structures, great architecture, creations that were conjured by the imagination, that we see spiraling, dazzling our own imaginations, like a mutual stimulating effect that rouses our curiosity, passion for life, to love one another and provide for each other. The idea of humility and appreciating beauty, that's such a fascinating idea that with humility, I can appreciate beauty even more. It's like saying, the meek shall inherit the earth. When Christ says he will ride on a donkey and exhibit meekness, we can appreciate life even more by surrendering our perception that these things in life are in our control, when the truth is we are conduits, we are canvases for God's will to draw upon us. And that takes humility to accept. That takes meekness. It's so seemingly paradoxical. It seems like a contradiction, that how could humility be a source of power? That's nonsensical. Everything I see on TV, everybody who gets attention on the news, they're not humble. But that's the assumption there. Who is to assume that because it's on TV, it's a presentation of power, when Jesus, who only needed 12 disciples, has followers beyond his lifetime in the flesh? And also the idea that to appreciate beauty, I have to abandon my sense of being an observer. It's like saying, can I abandon my thoughts and my distractions that are puzzling me at this time so I can look completely on the flower, the bee humming on top of the pollen of that flower? Can I see that so completely as to forget, as if completely forget that I'm there sitting, standing in nature, appreciating it, and letting it take me over in such a way where I forget about time and space altogether. You know, we say that of memories we love to cherish, of it just made time stand still. I was dazzled a little, astonished at creation. And the idea that the observer is a sensor. So the way we receive information is we tend to receive it in a filtered manner instead of receiving it in its raw data package form. You know, like in computers, if you have some understanding of computers, there are files that are compressed, like the data that you receive in your streaming entertainment. It's in a compression so that it gets to you easier for your internet to be compatible in the speed and time required for each image to come to you. The idea that we filter what we see is a beautiful contemplation. What am I censoring when I receive information? Am I seeing it with that censor? And the censor can be a bias, like, I hope this fits in with my interests and I will receive it in a way that it is fitting in this cookie cutter of my interests, instead of first receiving the data raw and all of the potential that that data has for how it can affect our quality of life and how we can appreciate it in its vast beauty. Those are all great meditations to have when we are encountering something new, when we encounter something that we think we know all about, when we can see it with fresh eyes, without the censor of all of our concepts weighing it, our concepts saying, how does this compare with that? Because we want to quantify things right away instead of experiencing it deep within our cellular level, experiencing it in a way that is unfiltered, uncensored, raw, to be able to fully grasp the context and appreciate the moment. God, it's beautiful. And it's like, that's the mission of Christ, is to show us a way of seeing the world, a way of contextualizing life. How can I make sense of life? What is life about? You know, all the great philosophers, thinkers, spiritual people, mystics, they all want to say, this is what life is. And the more open-ended our view of life is, the better we can appreciate the infinite possibilities that not only we have access to, but the possibilities that we hand over to the next generation, to our youth, to our collective children and our societies and communities. How we can appreciate the future together is by not limiting the possibilities that we're all encountering every day. Every day can be a delightful surprise. Over the rainbow, each day we encounter and arrive at a brand new rainbow.